Hello and welcome to the HealthCast305 podcast. Today, I, your host, Dr. Rob Poliszuk, will be speaking with the one and only Roy Williams. Do you have a thing before your name that I can call you? Master?
No, there's absolutely nothing else you can call me.
Okay. Well, Dr. Williams.
I have stuff after my name, but nothing, not a first name title yet. Just
Okay.
just Roy.
What are
Yeah.
the things after your name?
Just MPH right now, actually.
Okay. So there's a master's in public health. So that's great. This is good news. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself, Roy. Tell the listeners about yourself and why you're here today. I'm going to make you do that. I'm going to put the onus on you today. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I'm your friend, so that's why I'm here.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the number one
uh,
reason.
yeah. So I'm Roy Williams. I graduated from UM. I did neuroscience. I actually just did an internship at Baptist and got an MPH in biostatistics from FIU. And about
Congrats.
the time I was graduating, uh, COVID hit. So I ended up volunteering with faculty at FIU and Baptist and creating this project to at first model COVID because in March and April, that was really the big thing was the models. There were models coming up from the IHME, from Chime, which is the University of Philadelphia. That's actually UPenn,
Mm-hmm.
and the models were trying to predict COVID. We found that it was actually significantly harder to predict COVID than a hurricane or other things that people were predicting. So we decided to move into monitoring the actual trends in COVID. And one of the big things was that Florida had not until today actually put out any sort of hospitalization data. So Florida, and I think there were two other states, did not put out hospitalization data. So long story short, we ended up advising for the mayor of Miami, the city of Miami, and this sort of spiraled into informing the public, which is another central duty that you have as a scientist. So I think that hopefully answers the why question.
No, it does. You're on the front lines of this COVID thing, and
No,
this
I'm
is,
not. I know I'm not on the front lines. I'm not around any patients.
oh, not yeah. I mean, front lines in terms of taking the data in. I guess yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Saying front lines kind of makes it seem like you are one of these
yeah. I'm like
hospital heroes.
yeah, exactly like I'm running a ventilator. No, there's people that are doing that. That's very heroic, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, sometimes we have unlikely heroes. Roy, MPH. Sometimes,
That's funny because yeah. Okay.
sometimes we need
Yeah.
people like you. Um, so the first thing I would like to know. So everyone listening, especially if they're HealthCast 305 fans, we have dozens of listeners, including my parents and my family. Makes up about half of them, but some people here are in Florida and they want to know, like, why the big increase in cases lately. This thing really took off lately, and I've heard some theories, um, some to do with like people just getting out and about more, some to do with the fact that it's hot here and people tend to go inside in the air conditioning in these hot states. Um, are these things that you guys think about and discuss over there? I mean, I'm sure it's not just data collection and and putting that out. Like,
Well, that's what I'm doing. No, in the early on, we had meetings about that, and they're still having meetings with the mayor and city officials, and they mainly talk about that. The senior members of the project, the faculty. Um, but in terms of why right now there are a significant number of cases, that's actually really easy to answer, and it's just simply when Miami Dade opened. Miami Dade opened. They did not meet the gating criteria. Well, no, well, let's just put it this way: Florida overall opened way too early, and that's the reason we're seeing a proliferation in cases. I can actually show what's been going on since we reopened. And a key point that needs to be made is it's not necessarily the sheer number of cases. It's the proportion of those cases that come back positive.
Mm-hmm.
If we're increasing testing, there's going to be, all else held constant, a linear increase in the number of cases. That can be a function of testing. But when you have increased testing and more of those tests are coming back positive, that's when you can say definitively that there is community spread or increased community spread of novel coronavirus and the subsequent COVID-19 illness. So I'm going to share the screen, Rob, and if you can enable that for me.
I think, yeah, I will allow it.
Yeah, Zoom does that
Yeah, that's true. I'll
now
allow it
because of
for you.
Because
I
of
don't do
Zoom
this for many
bombing.
people. Okay, go ahead. Don't don't make me regret this decision.
Okay,
Okay,
I'll
cool,
try
cool.
not to. Hopefully, I don't know. I might have just shared desktop. So I'll just go through this kind of. Well, let's talk about what I just said, the actual number of tests that we're doing. So it starts off here. I mean, this is when COVID's starting around the 16th of March when we have our first case around that time. So we were doing less than 2,000 tests a day, well less than that. We were even in April, it was still uh, less than 2,000. We're doing over 10,000 COVID tests a day in early July. And some people say we could be doing more, and that's absolutely an argument to be made. But this is the reason we're reopening early, or this is the reason we're having more cases is because we reopened too early. This red triangle is when we reopened, and if you look, I want to say 2-3 weeks after that date of 18th of May, that's when you start to see a quadratic increase in cases.
Mm-hmm.
You're seeing exponential growth. In fact, there were, although we don't have this data, but apparently the Department of Health put out 33.5% portion of positives on
Oh,
Thursday. So when we re-update on Sunday, we'll see if that is an actual, if that's the actual number. But that's a substantial increase. In fact, the WHO recommends, as we say here, a percent of positive cases below 5%. The city of Miami themselves have suggested 10% portion of positive, but we're simply nowhere near that. We're actually over 25%, and we're even close to 30%.
jeez Louise.
And if you look at this over the past 2 weeks in particular, you'll see that on average over the past 2 weeks that the percent of positive cases that we're getting is growing by 7.5%. So every day we're getting 7 to 8% more positive cases.
Wow. So we're
Yeah.
talking going from like 25% to 7% of that more, and then 7% of that new
Yeah.
number
So,
more.
so do
Yeah,
7%, right? Do
of
7% times
25%.
a
Yeah.
week,
Jeez.
right?
Wow. Has that
Let me
changed at
see.
all? I mean, you've been doing this
Yeah,
data up
that's changed.
until
Yeah.
yesterday, or?
Yeah. So that number has changed quite a bit. Yeah. But actually, when I ran this 2 weeks ago, it was around 8%. So this has actually been somewhat of a consistent growth. But there have been fluctuations. Like I ran it, I think, on the 9th, and it was even less than this. But let me actually see. So if I go 7 days, that's about 5% a week.
Wow.
So yeah, and this has been a stable increase in cases, and it's growing 5% a week.
So are we still on like the left side of the curve, would you say? Or could we be hitting the top? I mean, it's tough to
The left
tell.
side of what do you mean?
Like
Oh,
you know
you
how
mean
like at the bell curve, for
as it
example.
peaked? Is that what you're
Yeah.
asking?
Are we approaching the peak, or do you think there's still more peak
Uh,
to come?
well, when you say peak, though, do you mean the peak for cases? Do you mean the peak for hospitalizations? What do you define? So let's talk about that in terms of cases. So no, we haven't hit the peak of phase one yet. To make it really simple, really in any metric. So let's take a look at cases. So we had a record new high of cases on July 7th. We had almost 3,000 new positive cases. And these numbers are just, obviously there are more cases out there. In fact, the CDC today said 40% of cases are asymptomatic. So you can double that with complete certainty that we have that many cases.
Wow.
And then there's some we probably still don't have. Let's talk about that in terms of hospitalization. So this is a graph of the different, this is hospitalization here. This is the number in the ICU, and this is the number ventilated. We just hit a record high in ventilations on the 10th. I think we hit record highs for everything on the 10th. I think the 10th was the worst day on record since around April 12th or so for everything. Wow. So on July 10th, we had 1,770 COVID positive patients hospitalized. That's just COVID positive patients. That's not total patients. We had 370 in the ICU, and we had 196 on vents. So those were all records. And if you look, what things were like back when we reopened around the 18th, we had 82 people on ventilators. So that's doubled. We had 770 hospitalized. Now we have 1,770. So pretty much everything has doubled since, and things are growing relatively quickly too.
Yeah, these hospitalizations are probably getting real bad in terms of overflow for the hospitals. I know some people that work in the hospitals, and the situation's getting worse and worse by the day. Have you heard anything about that in terms of how the hospitals are handling this, or like the capacity?
In terms of hospital capacity?
Yeah.
I did hospital capacity for everyone. So this is the South Florida report. All this can be found on the Miami COVID project.
Oh yeah, we got to put, yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Miami
yeah,
COVID. I'll include all this information in the notes.
Yeah, we should also tell them it's like 1 a.m. right now. Or no, it's midnight. Never mind. On Saturday.
Yeah. Roy's been burning the midnight oil, and I'm just here to work around his schedule.
Yeah, I haven't. I've been quite busy muscling through everything. So yeah, I actually have hospital capacity this is for the county. So if
Total
you look
beds,
at Broward
beds. Okay.
Broward hospital capacity, we're looking at about 14% capacity. And I should also probably be doing this for vent capacity. That's
14% until capacity, or 14% of capacity?
The remaining capacity.
Okay.
So we're at 14% remaining in Broward County. I actually don't even, when I write the report, I don't even make a mention of it. I want to simplify this actually when I do it, but
you're learning some stuff along the way right now. We're hearing Roy. We're hearing the gears turning his head right now. How to make this even better for us. This is big news. Palm Beach County, another place that was hit pretty hard.
Well, they have 20. They actually have, out of the 3 counties, the most capacity. They almost have like a fourth left.
Okay.
But they're hitting. I mean, they hit record highs for everything too. Events, everything. Yeah. So 18% capacity.
Okay. Yeah.
But we also have surge capacity, so it's not like. Oh, that was one of the questions you asked. Yeah. So there are surge hospitals, surge floors, surge everything. We have surge vents. There's certain vents that can be converted from anesthesia machines and things like that.
Interesting.
So there is capacity beyond these numbers.
And Elon Musk can always pop in there and make us some from his car batteries or something too, right? That's what he did before for New York City.
Yeah, there's private companies that could definitely. Yeah.
Are we the new epicenter in terms of America in Miami-Dade County? Like,
it depends how you define epicenter.
Like, are we the ones that have the
Florida,
worst situation in the hospitals? I mean, you have Houston, you have Phoenix, LA. All these places are.
Yeah, I would probably say so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely a rough time right now for some people. Now, is there anything to be said for so a lot of people are getting this, and it could be double from what you were saying earlier. Is there anything to be said for like the age range? Because I've heard the age range of the people getting it now is lower, and as far one of the few things that we
Yeah.
know is that there's a lot less um there's a lot less death and serious episodes if you're younger. Um, I've heard numbers like as low as the average age being around 20 to 25 years old. I don't Have you heard that too?
No, the average age is around in full for Florida. It's around 37, 38.
37, 38.
Uh,
Okay.
yeah. No, it's young people that are getting it, but if you look at which age groups are growing the most in cases, it's older groups.
That
At
makes
least
sense, right?
that's what one website, Florida COVID Action, put out. I think it's Rebecca Jones's website. She was a data scientist for FODOH.
Yeah, that was a big controversy in Florida, right? Because she got fired,
Yeah.
and there was people saying that maybe she got fired because they were trying to hide something, and there were some people saying that she got fired for a good reason. So, I guess
I don't know a good reason. Well, yeah, I don't know good reason, but being fired for insubordination,
insubordination.
that's definitely grounds for dismissal. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess her argument was that the insubordination was something that was like due to her
Yeah,
reporting
well,
of
she's
it.
put out
So
some really good analyses, and then uh, certainly has an axe to grind. So I
yeah,
personally try to verify when I reference her, which I usually don't actually.
yeah, but you got to think
Yeah.
now she's probably on her. She's really trying to do as well as she can because there's a lot of eyes on her and it's all her, right? So you think that would be the case? Well, crazy man. Is there anything else on this page you want to share with us? I was gonna see. I see the ICU. Now, in terms of the once you're ventilated, that's not a good sign. What's the? I've heard. I'm not sure of the exact numbers. I'm
Like
not sure if you know
50-50.
this. 50
It's
50
like
if you make it.
50-50.
Yeah.
50-50.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the rule of thumb, yeah. But there are steroids and things now that can help throughout that. And then there's also, certain treatments right now that have been shown to reduce the duration and severity of the illness. So things like remdesivir and other compounds are looking good. Not necessarily hydroxychloroquine, but the other ones are looking good.
yeah. Well, yeah. I've heard a lot of different options out there. So in terms of like reopening, what would have been if you could play Monday morning quarterback? Like, what would have been a good and because you also know some of the thanks. You also know some of the rules that they had established when to reopen, right? And you were mentioning earlier that Florida didn't really follow those rules; they opened too early. What would have been like a perfect time to reopen?
Oh, wow. That's really an interesting question. I was Me personally, I would have definitely, I mean, you needed to wait at least until June 1st. At least.
Okay.
I mean, May 18th is kind of a random day to reopen. And it's clear that we reopened too soon. I'm actually a proponent of kind of like what Steve Bannon said, just drop the hammer on it. I am actually in favor of very rigorous policies on this, science-based policies on
Yeah.
this. And if you look at policies that were adapted in Europe, where you don't even necessarily need the level you don't necessarily even need mask mandates in Europe, but they were able to get it under control, and they got it under control by in some respects avoiding large infection in the first place. But when they were infected, they had adequate contact tracing, they had adequate testing,
Mm-hmm.
and they listened to recommendations politically from scientists. And that's why you're looking at an overall better response, and today you're looking at lower cases and infection rates.
Yeah. They really hammered it down, right? They covered it. They smothered it, and that took care of a lot of it.
Yeah.
So what about like this? I have a good question coming up, but before that, what about like this Swedish model and how Sweden just basically put everyone that they decided were at risk and kept them at home and kept everything else open, and they saw a huge they saw a huge spike that kind
I
of
think they
sustained.
actually abandoned that. I could be wrong.
They
I'm
did.
fairly sure that,
Yeah, I haven't checked into it in the past couple weeks.
I think I'm fairly sure that, well, know about Sweden. I think the Nether
England, I know, like I think I heard England was
well,
trying it
England had tried
and
it,
they failed.
yes. The UK had tried the herd immunity strategy. And the problem with that is it's not going to work. You need 80% of your population to be infected. Um, and you as one country can't do that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's just not going to work.
yeah. All right. Well, so on that kind of topic, in terms of herd immunity, people getting it and maybe becoming immune to it afterwards, what are what are some of your opinions on the schools reopening? Schools are
Um,
the big thing is that schools are
yeah.
going to reopen and all that, and they want to make sure that the kids are safe. And it's looking like kids don't really have much of a response to this. I don't know if you know anything different, but
Oh,
you don't want to get the teachers sick or the family sick
that's
either.
actually really interesting. It's not that kids don't have a response to it. As a small number of children have had terrible, um, immune responses to it. It's just that, frankly, we don't know. All of our data skews 18 and up, so it's not that things happen in kids or that they don't. It's that we don't know what happens in children.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's not much data on it. Opening schools is certainly a high risk activity, and I think it's just pouring gasoline on the fire right now. If you want to have school, you're going to need under 10% positive rates. You're going to probably around 5%,
Wow.
and you need not just that low, but they have to be sustainably low.
So Miami-Dade isn't really anywhere near that then, right?
Yeah, no, we're like I said, we're over 25%, if not 30%.
Okay, man. Yeah, that's we got a while to go, it looks like, then, before we can even approach taking care of that. Um Man, so we talked a little bit about the surge capacity in hospitals and all that. Is there so you think in terms of right now where we're at in terms of how we're dealing with this, Miami for now has options if it becomes even worse, but there is a potential that if it continues to grow there.
They need social policies that reduce spread, and they need.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you can blunt hospital capacity, you can augment it, and in most cases you have to. I don't see an option right now where you can just let it bang, meaning that you can just say, all right, well, we're gonna just keep going forward until we don't have capacity, because the thing about these increases is they can come very rapidly. I mean, there's a predictable pattern if you look at it. Cases lead to hospitalizations. Once people are hospitalized, it takes some time for their condition to deteriorate, to get into the ICU, to get ventilated, and to die. So, we've seen increasing cases for a while, and now we're just now seeing increasing deaths. Um, so I don't see how you can just let it bang if deaths are going up. And we have surge capacity, but it's very possible for a city such as Miami, the capacity to just be diminished to a point where it's ineffective. Look at New York. I mean, we want to avoid a situation like that. So I don't think you can just let it bang right now.
Yeah, and we don't really have as much, like, the whole America was so focused on New York too. We even sent that big, like, cruise ship over with all the not the cruise ship but the medical ship over from the military. So
Hmm.
I don't think Florida really has that kind of preparedness right now. It seems like we're not the focus like New York City was at the time. So I'm not sure if they have the same kind of options from there. So so tell us a little bit about. So I've heard in the news about certain things like comorbidities that people have that make COVID way worse. Have you guys been recording things like obesity, tobacco use? Like, is that part of the things that you have done or you
No,
want
there's
to
a
do?
there's a huge effort to do it, and I'm going to start doing it.
You're gonna start doing it? Okay.
Yeah. Right now I just have medical examiner reports, and I'm going to hopefully do something in Python with some have it have it analyze, natural text and see if we can get the number who have hypertension, the number who have uh, you know, certain conditions, and if we can get it by race and ethnicity, because there's not a lot of disparities data, and there's a lot of grants out there that are trying to study it. So yeah, I want that's really the next thing I want to do, because that's where money is, number one, and it's a really interesting question. What conditions? I mean, off the top of my head, I mean, based on national data,
Yeah.
and I wanted this at the county level, and I want this at the state level. But obviously, certain ethnicities are predisposed. Um, to what extent can we separate just being a certain ethnicity from the correlated pre-existing health conditions like obesity and hypertension that are incumbent on that? So that's a very interesting question, but it looks like hypertension, diabetes, obesity in general, especially age, are correlated with death and negative outcomes when infected with COVID.
Yeah, pulmonary dysfunction too, right? Like asthma, and would that be something that would be,
Yeah, I mean, there's yeah, pretty much all the usual suspects there.
yeah, COPD and all that stuff too. Yeah, so that's good. So you're gonna start taking some data on that. Sounds pretty good. Um, Now you yourself, do you have any kind of website or way that people can reach out and understand from your perspective? Because it sounds like you have a lot of things planned. A lot
Yeah,
of
you can just go on the Temple College website, FIU, and click COVID trend tracker. So my work's on the FIU website, and then also you just haven't gotten a domain name to fully function, but if you can type in Miami-Dade COVID project, and it'll come up.
Miami-Dade
The
COVID
Miami-Dade,
project.
yeah, the Miami-Dade COVID project. Yeah, I have to get a Rob. You got to help me too, man. I'm sure you know how to do this. I'm trying to get a domain name to forward
Oh, like
to
to
my
point.
GitHub. Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah. So when people ask me like, "Oh, can I get on your page?" and I'm like, I don't know if you have to Google it or go to another page. So it's like, yeah, like that's been a problem. Yeah,
That's not easy. I mean, there's like DNS settings. There's the A record. It's so confusing, and
yeah.
I actually tried working with it when I
I'm
had
sure
my
you have like
website.
a really fancy ass website though.
My website looks, it's not as, yeah, I mean, it's not fancy, but it for me making it from start to finish, it doesn't look too bad. Because
Yeah.
but pointing it is a whole different thing. That takes like another type of brain that I don't have. That's like left
Really?
brain.
It's hard? Jesus.
It's not even that hard. It should be easy, and I was bad at reading the directions. That's a little secret about me. And it was
I
and
didn't know
it's
you read directions. I didn't know you read directions.
yeah, it was all just natural. My whole life it's been a natural thing. Um, and I do read the nutrition facts on my Trulies though, and I make sure that they're 100 calories or less every time. um, but yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's a tough way to.
I'm,
It's
yeah, I'm drinking tea right now.
That's tea. Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was something special.
It's definitely not White Claw or something.
Definitely not White Claw. What's going on with your background, man? It looks like you're becoming it or
No, dude,
something.
yeah, I don't,
You're
I'm,
right here next to me, so I don't know why that's
well, I mean, I,
you're
what can I
disintegrating.
say? What?
You're disintegrating a little bit. That's okay. It's
Oh,
natural at
no.
this age. I mean, you're getting that age. Let's just be real for a
Yeah.
sec. Um,
Yeah.
um, so is there anything else? I mean, this is a lot of really good information, and we
Yeah,
kind
no,
of
there's a lot. I mean, yeah, let me show the rest of it.
yeah,
Yeah.
because I feel like I don't want to miss out on anything specific
Oh,
because
yeah,
I am
no, there's a lot of other stuff on here.
I'm a little bit of a noob, and let's be
Oh,
fair here.
yeah. So, I mean,
This is all new to me.
we can look at deaths. Deaths have been consistently going down, but these things lag pretty bad. So,
Yeah, right.
in
There's like
Florida,
the hospitalization, and then there's the deaths come weeks afterwards.
yeah, but I'm saying in Florida, we don't declare someone dead on here until there's a medical examiner's report on them.
Oh
So
wow.
people are dying. Yeah, so people are dying, and it's not certified until the day of the death. And then we don't. It's a couple days behind. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Yes, the deaths are down. That was for Broward. Actually, no, deaths are stable in Broward. Let me put it that way.
That looks very stable.
Actually, wrong. Yeah, this is deaths in Miami down, and deaths in Broward are also down.
How is Broward doing? I mean, I don't know if they're doing a ton better, but to me, it looks like they're doing pretty well. And why is Miami doing so much worse? Am I over?
Well, I
Am I
mean,
under? Not
Miami has
understanding.
more people, so
Yeah, just tighter
I don't
quarters.
know. I don't know. I mean, everyone's doing really bad. So I also did this for Florida, which I'm so tired I forgot about.
So this
Um,
is your personal thing you made here. This is all your.
well, I made it. Well, I mean, no, I'm with making this with Dr. Odom. Well, Dr. Odom and I, yeah, basically. But obviously, before we do anything, we ask the chair of biostatistics and epidemiology, who are experts, as opposed to just me. I'm instructor at Miami-Dade, and a graduate student. Well, no, I graduate. Well, well, technically a graduate student again. I'll be a graduate student again next year. Yeah. And an associate professor. Sorry, assistant professor. I'm so tired. But yeah, so
Oh
look at
man.
Florida. Florida. So we're adding 11. We're like adding like how many tests a day here? Can't even read. I'm so tired. 1,153 tests
Average
per
change.
day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're adding it. Yeah, so we're doing over 50,000 tests a day in Florida. Uh,
Is
Let
that
me just say,
hitting? Yeah.
I think Disney World opening is just the most terrifying thing in the world. The
Yeah. It
fact
sounds.
that that happened, yeah, I think that's just like the most like holy shit. Like that's just
Isn't
like
it?
the most Florida thing.
Isn't
It's
it
like
right?
everything. It's like, well, we're things are pretty bad, guys. And then we're just open Disney World anyway. Like I just
That's the first thing
like
I
I
think
just
of when there's death and despair. Open Disney World. Make people happy. You know,
why
even if
why.
it means you infect.
But and you have to understand, like, okay, other Disney properties are open, right?
Yeah.
But like those places have it under control. It's like when Trump posted like, oh, Germany opened schools. Like, yeah, Germany has like no cases. Like, I have German friends on Instagram and they're walking around drinking, no mask on. Like, they didn't even one of the girls didn't even know COVID was a thing
Oh my
here
God.
still. She's like, what? She's like, you guys are still doing that? And she's like, not. I mean, I guess she's not the most aware person in the world, but she's not dumb. Like, this girl's got a master's degree. And she was sober when we talked. It wasn't like,
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't like
It seems like old news to her.
no. She thought we were done with COVID.
Yeah, she
Like,
can't believe it's still news over here.
yeah, she was like, I can't. Yeah, so and if you look at Florida, we're getting like 150 new positive cases a day. It's growing about 4% a day. So, fuck, it's growing like Jesus over a week. Let me do the math. Yeah,
Is
so
this a
I could tell
simple?
you, I could actually use this information to say what it's going to be next week, and I don't do that. Like, what?
If it continues.
Whatever. Hold on, times 7. Yeah, it's like I did it in my head, right? It's at 2.5% a week. So last week we were 15. Now we're like 17.5.
And these just keep, and once again, these things grow, but they build on
Yes.
each other because people are still getting hospitalized, and it's just adding, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. Yeah. So we're not in a good situation.
That's a big one right there. The proportion, right? The proportion of positive tests per test.
That's the most important thing. Yeah. Cause like if this is going to go up here, so this number of positives, this is going to go up with this
Mm-hmm.
number of tests. Those things are linked. But if I'm doing more tests and more people are coming back positive, that's bad. If I'm doing more tests and it's the same number of people that are positive, I'm just doing more tests. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like
I'm
we're seeing a greater percentage of each test testing positive.
right.
Is that what they
Yeah.
call the
That,
positivity rate?
yeah, you can call it that. That's
Yeah.
actually a nice way of putting it.
So
I
when
just
that
say
goes up,
percentage.
that's no good because that's just
Yeah,
showing
I should
that.
actually use. That's actually way better for laymen to understand. There's actually a bit of a difference between a proportion and a percent, but like I'm just gonna go with it. That's so much better. but yeah, that's pretty much the whole thing here.
And
So
so this gets updated every day,
yeah, I
right?
guess I'm doing it 3 times a week. I have no idea. We only did the South Florida one once.
Mm-hmm.
Initially, we were supposed to do it once for the Sun Sentinel. But then we did it for them, and then I had the Palm Beach Post reach out to me, and they're like, this is important. Can you keep doing it? And I was like, okay. So yeah, I did it. I did it for them, but that's at our, like, we don't have to do that every time we update. But the meetings were with the mayor were just like twice a week on Wednesdays. No, sorry, Thursdays and Mondays. Now it's like Tuesday. Wait, I think it's, I don't know. It's 3 times a week now, but I know I started and committed to only doing this on Sundays.
Okay, now that's definitely become way
Yeah,
more of
now
a.
it's like multiple. Now it's like a bunch of times a week. Yeah.
But it seems like you're intrinsically motivated. It seems like you enjoy this.
Yeah, it's definitely intrinsically
It's
motivated. Yeah,
it's kind of like
I'm doing it at patriotism. Actually, that's how I started it.
you are a true patriot.
Yeah, I saw my friends. Some of them, just finishing medical school, and they were already able to help. So I felt compelled to do what I could.
Yeah, and honestly, this is a big thing. I mean, it's it's front data line, which is to me, the
Front
more we,
data line.
the more people know, the
We
better.
should have you as PR.
I'm PR for everyone at this point, man. I'm just building everyone up around me. um, yeah, because and this extra information you're collecting is huge too. Because people, if they know how to take care of themselves, that's huge. I mean, with especially with Florida, you might be able to give someone all the information they need. They might totally not use it, but as long as people are
Yeah,
staying
no,
safe.
that's kind of the fun part of it. Yeah.
So what? So if
I
you
tried to
had,
get a math ordinance passed in Martin County. Eventually it was passed, but it's like it's so moot. It's like not no one enforces it, so it's just kind of sad.
yeah, I've been some places around here where people just they use the mask as a chin cover, is what it is.
I haven't seen people not wear. I haven't seen that much, but I honestly don't go places. Like, I'm not about that life right now.
Yeah, you're spending all day reading about these horrible things
No,
happening.
I literally spent all day doing this. Like, I'm graying and stuff. It's terrible. And I'm
Yeah,
also applying to medical schools and PhD, MD, PhD program. So it's like, yeah, that's why I have to like do um this what is it called, podcast stuff, so late at night. And
yeah. I'm
it's
just adding
terrible.
more to your table. Thankfully, this is easy. You
No,
just record
no,
this, and
this is the fun part of my day, bro.
actually, this is like your victory lap. You're showing people what you're learning now. But you've already had a little bit of victory lap. You were on. Didn't CNN pick up your data?
Yeah, but no, the only victory lap is actually actual policies being enacted. We've gotten some stuff enacted. Well, we know, I don't know what it depends. I mean, well, we're not making decisions on it. I mean, we can offer analysis, we can offer some recommendation, but it's more about producing analysis. So no, the only victory is less people dying. That's really the ultimate goal here, is to
Yeah.
try to save as many lives as possible. And if people can alter their behavior based on getting information that's accurate, like I said before, hospitalization wasn't published, so you really didn't know the extent of COVID positive in the hospital. So you really couldn't take the temperature of where you were living.
So what's the? I mean, with all this in mind, what's like the number one recommendations you would give to someone in terms of how to keep themselves protected at this point if they still have to go
You're
out
gonna
and live a
just
life?
get the same recommendations, the same generic things, like like don't lick any doorknobs, wash your hands,
Yeah.
wear a mask. Wearing a mask reduces it protects the wearer by 60%. So it actually protects you. Even those like really shitty cloth masks that,
Yeah. Like even like
yeah.
surgical ones with the gaps in the side.
Well, no, you can have gaps in the side, but
Yeah, because I mean, a lot of people wear them with the huge gaps. I've noticed. Um,
dude, I mean, that's terrible.
I know it stops that like direct spitting though. Um,
Yeah, then there you go.
but in terms
Although
of
it's airborne too.
what was that?
It's airborne too.
Yeah, I've
Very
heard that, right?
small percent of it is, yeah. It can, well, anything can air. Well, not anything. This is why I don't like to go on public record.
No absolutes. Yeah. No, I understand. Don't worry about it.
Yeah,
I mean, because this is now we're just going into like other fields that are have their whole other set of science. So, um,
yeah.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I've heard a lot of things, but I guess I won't get into that either because we don't want to spread any misinformation. But things that it seems like we do know is don't lick doorknobs, which
Well, it can aerosolize. A certain percentage of it is spread
yeah, which
airborne,
is
but
that's
you don't
really
want to say
scary.
that because it freaks. Yeah, exactly. You don't want to say it because then people freak out and they're like, oh, it can stay in
Yeah,
a room up until 3 hours. We know that.
it
And
floats
that's
around.
the science on it.
Yeah,
But if you can't tell the American public that because hey, you know what? Maybe we should tell the American public that because they'll wear a mask.
yeah,
Yeah.
or
Or no, they'll drink bleach. Yeah.
they'll drink bleach, or the opposite is they'll be like, "That's gonna be so hard to do that all the time. I'll just get the coronavirus now and call it a
Yeah,
day."
yeah. So there's not. Yeah, exactly. So you really can't predict. That's hard though. That's why. But yeah.
We need some kind of like psychologist that just thinks how Americans think, and uh, because it seems like we got a lot of
We can't do that.
we got a lot
Yeah,
of rebels here. Yeah, people.
we can't.
I don't think like an American. I think like an alien or something. I don't know. Yeah, I try to wear my N95 all
You
the
think like
time.
someone from upstate New York, dude. What are you talking about?
Yeah, we're safe over there. Honestly, back up home, I see videos of my buddies, and it's there's no precautions anymore. People on big
Wow.
boat parties, no mask, no mask, no mask. From day one, it was like that. But it's not really densely populated, and but I know that's not the
Nah,
only
man.
thing.
I'm like right now. I'm in where I'm living at my mom's right now.
Hmm.
Uh, there's like dwindling cases. It's still bad though, but dude, I don't go anywhere. I'm not social. I mean, my friends invited me to go watch a fight tonight. I'm like, no, what the fuck? I'm not gonna go around you. I don't know where you've been, dude. You came over from Tampa, man. Come on.
Yeah, no,
Yeah, so I'm just super, super precautious about it.
yeah, definitely. That's the only thing we can do right now. It seems like, especially because it's funny because during the initial lockdown, everyone was really careful in Miami specifically, and like with my patients with physical therapy, I had a lot of cancellations. A lot of people saying let's hold off, but now the cases are worse than ever in Miami, and I'm getting more people that want PT, which is fine
Yeah,
because
that's the thing though, because if you have a shutdown now, there's gonna be less compliance. So I mean, you might not even be able to have a shutdown. You know what I mean?
yeah,
You get what I'm
exactly.
saying?
It's
Yeah, people are just. But I'm glad you're getting some clients, bro. I mean, I don't know. Are you doing? You're doing PT right now during the
I'm
epidemic.
doing PT. I make them wear a mask, and I wear a mask too. I wear gloves. I clean the table. I treat patients outside like half the time. And from their home as well, they wear a mask. I wear a
Has
mask.
anyone like coughed or something? Like
I know whenever they cough, I'm like, you have coronavirus. Get out of here. But they're always wearing a
okay,
mask. One patient coughed the other day, but she was saying like it was like it was like an
allergies.
only cough. She coughed all day. Yeah, and she was like, oh, it was because she had some excuse, right? Another patient said that her like girlfriend had developed what she thinks is COVID, and they can't get a test till later in the week, so we canceled our appointments. Anyone that goes into the gym, if I treat a patient from the gym, which hasn't happened much, I've only had 3 patients in the past couple weeks in the gym because I'm trying to
But
avoid
no one's lifting
the
down
gym.
there.
People in the gym are working out, yeah.
You're not lifting.
Oh, I'm lifting on my own. Yeah, and yeah, when I work out, I wear a mask, which obviously isn't
Where are
comfortable.
you lifting at?
Elevation Fitness in downtown.
Oh, so you're going to the gym, dude. You're fine.
I'm
You're
going to
not
the gym,
dead.
yeah. I'm not dead. No, yeah. In terms of my workouts, yeah, I take care of myself, but you got to be careful. And it sucks, but I wore the mask last time. I was getting headaches, and but I was thinking about my older patients and how I don't want to do anything to harm them. But I'm definitely gonna ease off of them a little bit at this point, especially because I'll be gone next week on a vacation. So I just let this thing play out for a little bit.
Who says you get a vacation? Where are you going?
I'm giving myself a vacation. I'm going to see my boys in Virginia.
Oh
So
shit, you're gonna fly?
I'm gonna fly. Yeah. I'm just
Oh geez.
I'm
But
wearing
I know
yeah. in that stagnant airplane air. What I plan to do is
It
hold my
circulates
breath,
pretty well. I think it circulates pretty well in the airplane.
and they can't be that full. I've heard of
No,
flights with like,
I've seen pictures. I think American Airlines just, I could be wrong, but I think I think they just fill all their flights now. They
they.
used to have the middle seat thing, but now you're the only person I know who's talked about flying, bro.
Isn't that funny? Well,
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I
give
don't know.
me.
Everyone's like, let's take a road trip. I don't
Oh yeah, people
know.
are driving like crazy. Yeah. So what I'm gonna do is when I get back to Miami, I'm gonna schedule um, like a quick test, just to like
No, dude, you'll be okay.
to
You'll be okay.
reestablish because it's like I leave, I come back, I just want to feel good about myself with the patients. Um, I don't
Yeah,
know.
well, in that case, yeah, you
But
can
are
like
there
schedule.
rules like going off of this? Are there rules for testing that you know of at this point where like
No, I
people
don't
have
think there
to
are many restrictions. No.
yeah, like you can just go if you want. If you just want to get tested, you get tested. You don't need any
Yeah, I
good.
think so.
Okay,
I mean,
cool.
I believe so. Yeah. I mean, it depends what county, but
Have you been
you should be
tested?
able to get tested. No, I haven't been tested. I haven't had any exposure.
Okay, you've been really careful.
Yeah, no, man. I'm not in an area with a relatively high number of cases. We only have like 3 people in Martin County. Uh, we actually only have one person on ventilator
Wow.
right now. Yeah. I mean, maybe they don't report. I don't know. There could be reporting quality issues there, but I don't, because again, I don't know. I just I just look at the data.
Well, I've heard some stuff about like small counties. You don't really hear about them, but they could like triple their infection rate. Um, but you don't really hear about it because it's not a lot of people, right? But if it's like New York City and there's millions of people that are potentially getting infected and there's huge
Yeah,
surges.
I mean, in Martin County, we've had less people we've had decreases in everything.
Oh wow. Well,
Yeah.
it seems like they raise them right out there. Look, you're being careful. They're being.
No, people here are not careful at all, bro.
Wait, where are
No, people
you?
here.
Where are you right now at this moment? You're in
I'm in Palm City, Florida.
Palm City, Florida. How far is that from
Yeah,
Miami?
2 hours
Well,
exactly
that's cool. And look,
north.
we're in the same room too. I forgot to mention that. We're actually in the same room. So I'm in Palm City too
Yeah.
because the background is the same. So that's what that is. Anything in particular you want to mention about COVID? I know that we had a little note here about a nation that's never known freedom. I don't know if that's a particular thing that needs to
No,
be
I
mentioned.
don't know. I have no idea what that's about.
Well, I don't know why that was there either.
Well, I
These
don't
show
know, man.
notes are insane.
Maybe I was trying to. I don't know. Maybe on my iPhone I was trying to write some type of political statement drunk and I accidentally wrote it in our interview note thing. I have no idea what that.
Yeah. I see.
No,
It
I have
just
no
didn't
idea what
seem.
that is.
Yeah, it just.
I don't even remember what that note would have been to myself.
Yeah, it almost sounds like a
Yeah.
really dramatic
We
speech.
need to do one of these during the day where I'm like awake. I
No,
could
that's
be
just
so much more vibrant.
no. But you kind of like gave us the information. You press it at us. You smush it in our face there, which is good enough
Oh,
right
I
now.
put it in your
Next time can
face.
be the
Yeah.
fun one because
Oh
we
yeah, no.
yeah we'll
I
have
don't
some
think
beers. I'll
I don't
open
think
this
we need to have
window.
a phone one.
Oh, you don't have a what?
I don't think we need to have a phone one. This
Never.
is fun. Nah, we'll
True.
do a phone. Well, we'll do a phone one,
When
but
COVID
yeah, no.
19 becomes a little bit less scary in terms of
Yeah.
what it's doing to people and how many people it's doing it to, we can have like a wrap up thing here. But I think I need people to know about Miami COVID Project and Roy Williams and the good work you've done with the doctors. Um, and that I will put some of the information in the show notes about you and what you're doing. And so people in
Yeah,
Miami can
absolutely.
learn about what the hell's going on. Miami, Broward, South Florida, they could and Florida in general, right? They can learn
Yeah, or
all.
people that are just interested in it at all,
Yeah, and right now we're kind of like the focus. Everyone loves to like rag on Florida, and we're just totally giving them ammo right now. So I count you as you're in charge of this, and you're making us look bad. But we kind of did to ourselves.
Yeah,
That's how it is.
it's my
We're gonna get
fault. Yeah.
Florida man, round like 15 right here. So,
Yeah.
um, did you see that meeting? Was it Palm Beach, the county meeting about the mask wearing and the people that were
We
complaining?
had one in my hometown in Martin County, and it's literally all people that are like, I can't breathe in a mask. I'm gonna die. You know, it's or they bring up one like one British not British. They bring up one New England Medical Journal article about wearing masks, and it's literally a perspective piece. Like
Oh,
it's not a scientific paper. It's like the scientific equivalent of an editorial.
not peer
Dude,
reviewed. Yeah.
there's just yeah, or people are like, I don't know. There's just I can't rationalize it.
Yeah, you're kind of like you're out here on a limb, man. You're doing pretty good things here. So, uh, you can't convince everyone, but you've convinced me, and you've convinced our listeners.
Convince you to what, wear a mask?
I've already known. I'm just saying it
What am I
too.
trying to convince? What am I trying to convince people? What?
It was more. I was just saying words. It's late for me too. It's
Oh,
nearing.
okay. There you go.
Yeah,
That's
you
okay.
called me out, and you win. But by convincing, I mean you've convinced me there's a problem. I already knew there was. Um, but let's just say if someone called in and wasn't, or was listening and wasn't convinced, that you probably convinced them. So that's
Oh,
good.
okay.
I'm saying
Yeah.
called in, man. This is
Can people call in though? Can we do that?
we could
We
fake
should
it.
definitely have people call in. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my
No, we
God,
should have
the
people call in for
the
sure.
lines are lighting up right now. People all over want
Oh,
to know.
dude, bro, we should. Dude, people call in a podcast?
Well,
Oh, that would
I could
be
start doing
such a
live
dope thing.
podcasting, which I might. Yeah, there's some sort.
Yo,
You could do live Zooms
no, we
online.
can't do that. I would immediately get fired from everything. I just immediately.
Yeah, the eggshell walking is insane. We don't want to
On a
offend anyone.
live podcast, yeah, dude. It
Yeah,
would
you'd
be
say
yeah,
something terrible.
it'd be tightrope walking.
It'd have to be a non-COVID one, man. We could do one
No,
based on.
dude. I don't even know a subject in today's
I know what we
society.
could do. I know
What?
when we could do a podcast here because I worked on you a little bit, briefly, and it was like a weird third of a session. But we could talk about your
What?
injury, and we could discuss what we went through, even though it's very little. And
Oh
I
no,
could.
dude, my body's completely ruined.
It
Yeah,
could be like a
me
case
and you.
study, and people like to hear case studies. They love hearing about your body.
Oh yeah,
I
magic.
get people
You have the
calling
magic.
in.
Well, you know you have the magic hands, but my body's still ruined, man. Like
It's ruined. See,
I've had
don't you're
yeah.
putting poison in my listeners' brains. But like,
No, it's no.
you can't be ruined. Never, never.
No, dude, I'm just saying quarantine every time and me working and
I
not
know.
sleeping.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, I'm just not I'm a total bro and I haven't had a quality workout in a while and it's nothing to
Oh,
do with your magic hands. So
my magic
I
hands may
felt
have.
amazing. Yeah, I felt amazing after that. I had a good couple. I had like a good quality I feel really good. I like to do powerlifting for everyone to listen know. Like I had a few good weeks after that, you know.
COVID's a horrible situation. So you haven't been
Yeah,
lifting, obviously, lately. Of course, you have not
no,
because of
we
all
have a
this.
gym here, dude. But it's terrible. It's like I have to like walk like sideways to like between the racks to get the place behind the rack, and there's like one rack and the bench is at the completely wrong height. So every time you like get it out, it's like already half pressed but not fully pressed.
Oh, it's
That's
like
the
a
most
half rep.
awkward. Yeah,
Yeah.
like you start out at a half rep when you unrack it. It's like what the fuck?
Are the
Yeah, or you can, yeah.
are the
You know what I'm
places where
talking
you
about?
rest the weight? Are they like inside of your shoulders? I hate those. Where where the weight sits, the barbell sits across, and the two things
It
are.
curves up.
Oh God.
Yes, you have to like up and back. It's just terrible. And dude, the bars are like this fat for like not Olympic bars. Like it's really weird. And it's like it's either everyone's really old or um it's just a bunch of teenagers that like don't know how to work out at all and they're really skinny.
Yeah, a bunch of kids
Yeah.
who don't
I
live.
miss Equinox, bro.
Skinny.
We should put something out for Equinox and Coral Gables so your listeners understand that's I'm just kidding.
They need every help they need all the help they can get. They're open right now, right?
Dude, I all my friends go to Elevation though. I always wanted to check it
Yeah,
out, but
dude. Come by for a
yeah.
day. I'll give you the
No, I
grand
for
tour.
sure, dude. I no, seriously, I have a friend from New York and every time he flies down, he always goes straight there, like directly from the airport.
It's world renowned. The guy who invented Zumba
Yeah,
works
no,
out there.
the guy who invented what?
The guy who invented Zumba works out there. Amongst other,
Zumba?
the average followers on Instagram for the people in my gym is like 86,000 followers. So, and that includes me, and I have less than 2,000. So,
The
imagine.
average,
So for me, to someone with like
how do you calculate the
170,000.
average number of followers that your followers have?
The average number of
Like that,
followers that the gym members in the gym have. So you take let's
how
say
do you
there's
can't calculate that?
250.
What?
I do my own set of data. And arguably it could be more important than yours because understanding the
Okay.
Instagram followings is highly correlative to
Yeah.
COVID. Yeah. So I think that
So we
we all
can
have
get,
our own
yeah,
thing.
dude. Oh yeah. Well, after this, dude, if you want, we can talk about Instagram a little bit.
Yeah, you have a lot of Instagram followers.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
you think
If you
about
guys
posting
want
this
to
stuff
add
on
me,
your Instagram and like forwarding people to your COVID stuff? Or would that kind of be
say
no
say
go
it
for
again.
them?
I'll do a shout out. Yeah.
No, shouting out your own COVID project.
I actually haven't posted anything on Instagram. I've only posted stories.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
you could do the swipe up if you want to know. Swipe up if you want to
I've
know about
done that,
COVID.
yeah. But dude, no one's messaged me. They just want pics. They just want shirtless pictures or something. I don't
Sure,
know.
That's the
I have
problem with
no idea.
Instagram.
I have no idea, dude. My audience is just like, dude. No, they just want pictures of me doing rich boy stuff. Like, they're incorrigible, bro. Like, I don't know. Like,
They're
none of my. I post a meme. I get like 8, 9 messages. I post my COVID work. Like, one person's messaged me.
Yeah, dude. Honestly, COVID's really cramping their style. They don't want to deal with
Yeah, dude.
that.
My followers are not into COVID. Like,
You got to make a video where you point, and then the thing comes up, and then you point, and then another piece of information comes up, and then you point to the left and right, and then you do a dance. That's like you got to do like a TikTok.
yeah, but with COVID, you can't do that because it's like hospitalizations are up, deaths are up, people are gonna die, and I'm like trivializing it. Yeah,
Yeah, that wouldn't be good.
yeah,
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 it would be like a
yeah.
really serious topic.
Hope
But
you don't have a TikTok, man.
if that's how you get through to people, I don't have a TikTok. I got one, I deleted it immediately because
Okay, good.
China spying on us. They could spy on us with it. I don't
That's
want to be part
actually
of
one of the better Trump imitations I've heard, man. I haven't heard.
it. Yeah, well, if I do another 3 seconds, it's copyright. It's so good. No, it's
Oh,
yeah, TikTok. Don't the Chinese government can just like manhandle it whenever they want to, and they can take the
yeah, if
information
you
they want.
right, if you own a corporation in China, it's because the CCP lets you, and you have to give them the data if they want.
Yeah, so they're gonna have a lot of data on millennials and Gen Zs, more Gen
I'm
Zers.
honestly shocked you didn't ask me about my affiliation with Bill and Melinda Gates and Dr. Fauci and the 5G towers. I was just waiting. I was honestly waiting. I thought that was going to be the prominent part of.
Well, now we're gonna
Have
get
you
into the
heard those? Have
Alex
you heard
Jones is here
those?
tonight. What?
Have you heard? I mean, dude, I haven't even like. So okay, so one of the amazing professors I work with, she did an interview with BBC Brazil
Mm-hmm.
in Portuguese, and when I translated the Portuguese article in English, that's when I first learned what these conspiracy theories on COVID were, and it's like I have no words for it, bro. Like there's different ones, like some are connected to international pedophiles. Like some think that Bill Gates wants to like eliminate the population size. I have no idea where the fuck 5G comes in. That's where I've been wondering, because those are the funniest ones to me. Like I really want to like what does the 5G come in? Is the 5G related to the vaccines?
Yeah, it's like an amalgamation of all the worst things, like pedophilia, 5G,
Right.
vaccines, like things being implanted, like the sign of the devil on your neck. Like they're gonna like, and people refuse to
What
wear the
is that?
mask
Because
because
I
it's
heard I
like
heard
it's
in the
prophesized
Forbes
in the
interview.
Bible.
I heard in the Forbes interview with Kanye, I heard he says something vaccines to the mark of the devil, just like some bad shit, crazy stuff.
Yeah,
Where is that coming
yeah.
from?
I mean, Revelations, bro. You gotta read that. I don't know anything about it,
No,
but my friend posted
why
the other day about the
vaccines
mask
though?
because I think that he views. I think from what I've heard about some people who talk about vaccines, this is totally BS right now what I'm saying, but is that they view it like when they could be putting something in you, like they could be like inoculating you with some kind of tracking device or some kind of. It's like a mark in itself. You know
Do
how they
they
talk about the
really
mark of the devil?
miniaturize tracking like that?
Yeah, and Bill Gates is creepy, so people think that he's behind it all. He is kind of creepy.
I feel so bad. No, he's dude. He literally like donates his whole fortune to like saving everyone. He's made computers for everyone, and
He
just done positive things his whole life.
he
And now
hates
it's just like,
mosquitoes. Treats mosquitoes like crap.
oh, the malaria eradication. Yeah,
Malaria is a
malaria is
horrible.
deadly.
It's
Yeah, dude. No,
way
I did
it's
some. Yeah,
insane.
and undergrad in my micro lab. Yeah, dude. When I had to pick a project, I was like, yeah, like definitely gonna do. Think falciparum malariae, I think the name was. Yeah. Yeah. But dude, no, that if you and some people have said this is like totally bordering on like impossible to verify, but if you look at all the illnesses in the world that have killed the most people, malaria would be number one.
No, I was gonna say I saw a graph at the beginning of COVID where they were showing like the potential
Oh,
for it.
I should have made some graphs for this, dude, because people all the time will say, "Oh, COVID's not bad. You know, obesity kills more people." No, obesity kills 300,000 people in the U.S. each year. COVID's killed like 140. I mean, we can at least say 150,000 people. You know,
Yeah.
well, it's killed like 130, 140 in like 4 months. You know, or and so it's like way more deadly than obesity. Yeah, March, April, May, June, 5 months.
And we just gotta,
Eh,
yeah, we just gotta hope that we have some kind of immunity after you get it. You know that you
yeah,
it's
we might not. Yeah, we might not, right?
that would
Because
suck.
well, I
If
mean, we'll think about it. A lot of common colds are caused by coronaviruses.
coronavirus.
Yeah, I mean, they still have, colds are still caused by, adenoviruses and other types of viruses. But yeah, the immunity to those lasts like 2, 3 months. And one study, it's a preliminary study, and it's important that people understand you don't ever draw a conclusion from one study alone.
Hmm.
But it showed it lasted 2 months, so that's actually a very bad sign. It could be cold-like in the way that it affects immunity, which would
My
be
God.
yeah,
Yeah.
which would be hard. But then again, there have been a lot of promising phase 2 trials.
Including the company that I own part of. One
Yeah,
hundredth of
you
a
have to.
tenth of a
Yeah, you have to
percent.
disclose that. Yeah, you got to disclose that now.
Yeah, we hope Novavax can create a
And
vaccine.
yeah, and that other stock you have, which makes your huge.
Yeah, that one, that one's gonna really take off too, hopefully. Maybe that'll
Yeah.
even be included in the podcast. Who knows? That's the next episode of that's the next episode of HealthCast 305, man. Is there any other last words of wisdom here, like that you can provide the audience with, or advice or tips related to their health during these tough
Yeah, yeah.
times?
No, take it seriously. I'll give a story. So I called to get a new Visa card the other day, and the guy I spoke to on the phone was 29 years old. He had gotten COVID.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the ICU back in early April, and he almost died. And I'm doing COVID work for a few months, and I never for a fucking second thought this could affect me. I'm in good shape. I'm 27. Well, I was in good shape before they shut the gyms down, but I'm a healthy young man. I eat well, lots of Chipotle.
Especially now, yeah.
Yeah, no, I've always eaten a lot of Chipotle, but no, I'm a healthy guy. And I'm literally looking at how this is affecting people with deaths and hospitalizations. I'm doing this for a while, and I never thought, okay, Roy, you could not just get sick but die, because I'm also looking at case fatality rate, and I'm like, well, it doesn't appear to present a huge risk in my population. But this guy had no pre-existing conditions. If he's just in that small percentage of people that it happened to,
Mm-hmm.
and he almost died, and that could have been me. That could
Yeah.
have been easily reversed. Except I'm really, really cautious. But he said he was, he says he doesn't know where he got it. But that's kind of what I would say. Wash your hands. Don't If you can avoid doing something, it's not essential. Don't do it. I mean, yeah, we're back in phase 1 in Miami, but you don't have to be. You can be even more cautious than that. Try to minimize the amount. Try to minimize what you do, particularly around people who are older, and
Mm-hmm.
understand that this can happen to you, and be very careful about it. Try to even if it's not a high chance, try to be mindful that it can impact others around you. That and in general, don't do anything stupid. Don't go to large events. Don't go to COVID parties. Those
Yeah,
are a
that's the thing.
thing.
I heard that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's apparently a thing. Trust science. Trust wearing a mask. And I'm optimistic. I don't think this will be as bad as New York. I think treatments are working, and I think there's a lot of hope. But with that said, things could go bad at any moment. Things could get worse if they don't get better.
Mm-hmm.
So be mindful of others around you, and try not to get sick. If you're sick, isolate. Basically the same common sense things you've been hearing.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I'm sure the person that listens to this is more educated than the average person. But just yeah, be careful.
Yeah, man. We only have the most educated listeners. That's what I make sure. If you call, if you're listening to the
We
show
need to
and
have call-ins. Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
if you call in, you could definitely got 120 plus IQ. All listeners 105 plus. Nothing below 105. I don't want any dummies listening on this show. So it
Okay.
sounds like respect the virus, and don't endanger others, because you could really hurt someone. You could really make someone really sick. Especially think of your little mom and your grandma. Don't get them sick. So, well, thanks very much, Roy. Thanks for taking the time. Right now it's 1:08 in the morning, and you've probably been
Yeah.
awake for 15 hours, but you might have woken up at 2. Who knows?
Yeah, that's possible. I might have woken up very late today, but I might have been up till 6 in the morning
Your whole
doing
window is
stuff.
shifted over. Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah, like I'm on like I'm actually quite tired right now. No, my circadian rhythm is just like I don't know. Between not sleeping in the computer screen. But anyway, Rob, thanks for having me on here. I hope we get to do a couple more of these.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited
Yeah.
to do more. Yeah, and we could talk about later subjects too that don't make you have to use all of your brain power, and be extremely careful with how you put things, because it's very important
Oh, I
information.
probably made several missteps and I'm already in trouble, but I
I might
hope
have to
that.
go through this podcast a little bit, and maybe I'll
Yeah.
maybe I'll send you a rough copy, and then you can like look
Yeah.
at it.
Anytime we talk about dicks, like that's just not, yeah, just like,
Yeah,
I'm
no.
sorry if I made it really hard to edit.
No, I mean, I need to learn how to edit, so maybe I'll just
Oh
keep it, man.
shit.
I'll just keep it.
Oh, I
I'll
don't know, dude. I mean, well, it
I'll
depends.
just keep it, man. It's people need to
If
know
you
about my
make it
investments.
if you make it super PG, I'll put it all over my Instagram.
So you made it not PG, and now you want me to make it PG so you could put it on your Instagram. This is BS.
No, no, you leave it. I'll just post it. I
You
don't
got
give
to
a
put all
shit.
the non-PG parts up. You have to be responsible for your, a nation has never known no freedom as strong as.
No, I don't know where the fuck that came from. I must have accidentally copied and pasted some anti-China article I tweeted.
Yeah, it sounded like a. I feel like there was gonna be 6 more paragraphs after that, but it just kind of
No,
stopped.
bro,
Yeah.
I have no idea what that was, man. Maybe
Well,
that was you.
maybe that's lead into the penis thing. I don't know, man. We
Maybe
gotta.
that was you, bro.
Yeah, maybe I was drunk and did it. I remember reading it and
I,
being flabbergasted. Myself, I was just appalled. I was like, "What is he gonna say?" And I was just gonna let it
oh
go.
shit! I think I was gonna go on like one of
Yeah, like
those
some kind of you know, some
crazy ass rant.
yeah,
Yeah.
problematic rant, which is the worst nowadays. So we
Yeah,
don't.
problematic rants are the worst kinds of rants, but
No, what's their
the
problematic?
other rants are
Any
cool.
kind
Yeah.
of ism after it would have been terrible. So
Hmm.
I'm glad we avoided that. All
Yeah.
right,
Well, thanks for having me on, Rob.
no problem. Thanks for being on, Roy. I'll send you your check in the mail.